Okay, I had intended to do this video yesterday, but I didn't get around to it. So I'm going to be talking about the famous, perhaps lately infamous, Yankee daylight developing tank for sheet film, up to 4x5. For many, many years, maybe like 40 years, 50 years, this was the way to go for home, large format photographers to develop their sheet film. It was really the only thing you could get. More professional people, maybe working for newspapers or whatnot, used more of a dip and dunk method with steel frames and larger tanks, um, a lot less convenient, requiring total darkness for the most part. And it's kind of rough transitioning from one chemical to another in complete darkness until you've done it a lot. So this was convenient for home use, and even professional photographers with a small area for their dedicated use for developing their own film. Um, as of late, when I got back into shooting large format, I noticed a lot of backlash and a lot of you know hatred for this device, and largely because people were getting their film sheets contacting each other during developing and then getting ruined negatives. And so this is probably the third one of these that I've owned, maybe the fourth. Um, in previous years, back in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, when I had one, I never had any problem. Um, the one I had before this, maybe 15 years ago, I didn't really have any problem with. Um, However, this unit that I purchased when I started getting back into 4x5, maybe 3 years ago, I had exactly the issues that everyone complained about. And so I took it apart, and I took a close look at it, and I realized that this must be a later model because the plastic seems a lot thinner and lighter than the other ones that I had. And there's still a lot of crudeness to the moldings, and where they didn't do a lot of finish work. So on this part, these two parts, there were a lot of burrs on the ends of these channels. Might be able to see where I had to do some sanding on this to get rid of these burrs. The next thing I noticed is the gap for a 4x5 sheet to go in there. Look at that. That's huge. And the thing is, for it to work properly, it relies upon these little nubs. You can probably see the shiny little bulges there. They're all in the middle, on the top and bottom, on both sides. And then around here on the inside edge, there are also, there you might be able to see them now with the light on them. And the purpose of those is to keep the negative, and you see the grooves are V-shaped, is to keep the film from touching the edge. Now, with this much slop, it's very easy for it to entirely miss the nubs and make contact. And if you have two sheets make contact to each other, you get undeveloped portions of your negative, which is exactly what I had on my first roll. One solution I did, aside from clearing off those burrs that were keeping the film from going in properly, is approximately 1/8 of an inch farther down towards the bottom, I cut my own second groove on both sides. This part was also very sloppy, and didn't fit very well, so I heated this up a little bit and bent it in slightly so it has more spring tension now against the center. And did I actually? Oh, I put it the correct way. So now, instead of putting it on this last notch, I put it on the next to last notch. And now you'll see very little slop. So the negative is going to definitely make contact with all of the nubs and keep it clear of the edges here. And if you put two sheets in, you see that there's no way they're going to make contact with each other. So now we have that improvement. The next thing is I've been around the block enough and had enough disasters happening in my life that I don't trust, things that stay on with gravity. So I got elastic bands. I tied 2 of them to be about the same size, and I will put these on here. There are feet on the bottom of the tank. Now, you don't want to tilt it like that when you have chemicals in it. You're going to get wet with stuff that you don't want to get wet with. But once you load the film in here, I put these on, and now I'm disaster resistant, at least, if not disaster proofed.